Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Should you block them or not? I mean, think about it for a second. You've probably asked yourself this question 100 times, maybe more. One day you're thinking, that's it, I'm done. I'm blocking them everywhere. And the next day you're thinking, maybe that's too dramatic. Maybe I should just leave things open. Look, people talk about blocking like it's some kind of universal rule. Just block them. Go no contact. Cut them off completely. And honestly, sometimes that advice is right, but not always. And that's the part nobody really talks about. Because blocking someone isn't just a technical decision, it's an emotional one. And most of the time when people block someone, it's not actually about peace, it's about pain. Let me tell you something. If you're watching this video, chances are you've already been through this mental loop. You're lying in bed at night, thinking things like, did they ever actually love me? Why did they breadcrumb me? Why do I still care? Why can't I stop thinking about them? And then another thought creeps in. Maybe if I just block them, I'll finally move on. Look, I get why that thought shows up. Because when someone is still accessible, still visible, still potentially able to message you, your brain keeps the door open. And open doors are dangerous for the human mind. You see their name pop up somewhere. You see their profile picture change. Maybe they view your stories. Maybe they like something. And suddenly your brain starts spinning again. What does that mean? Are they thinking about me? Why didn't they message me? Should I message? Your brain turns into a detective, constantly analyzing tiny signals, and that's exhausting. So blocking feels like the solution, like you're finally shutting the door. But here's the truth that most people discover later. Blocking someone doesn't automatically remove them from your mind. Look, you can block someone on your phone, but you can't block them from your memory. You can't block the questions. You can't block the late night thoughts. You can't block the part of your brain that keeps wondering, what if? And this is where people get confused. Because sometimes blocking really does help, and sometimes it actually makes the obsession worse. Let me explain what I mean. When blocking works is usually because the person has already emotionally detached. They're not hoping for a message. They're not waiting for closure. They're just removing a distraction. In that case, blocking is like turning off noise. But when someone blocks from a place of emotional intensity, it's often more like slamming a door while still standing right outside it. The person is blocked, but the mind is still focused on them, still wondering, still replaying things, still thinking, do they care that I blocked them? Did they notice? Will they try to contact me somewhere else? Think about this for a second. If your brain is still asking those questions, the emotional connection hasn't actually ended yet. The block is just symbolic. Now, before we go deeper into this, let me say something quickly. If this video is resonating with you, if you've gone through this exact mental tug of war, take a second and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might be stuck in the same situation. Because a lot of people think they're the only ones dealing with this. All right, let's go deeper. Because there's another layer here that people rarely talk about. Blocking someone can sometimes become a power move. Not intentionally, but emotionally. People block hoping the other person will notice, hoping they'll react, hoping they'll reach out somewhere else and say, why did you block me? And when that doesn't happen, it hurts even more because the silence now feels louder. Look, I'm not saying blocking is wrong. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary, especially when someone is repeatedly hurting you or breadcrumbing you or keeping you emotionally stuck. In those situations, blocking can create the space you need to finally breathe again. But here's the deeper question people rarely ask themselves. Are you blocking because you're done or because you're hoping it'll make them react? Those are two completely different motivations, and they lead to very different emotional outcomes. Let me tell you something honestly. The real turning point usually doesn't come from pressing the block button. It comes from something else. It comes from the moment when your brain finally stops waiting for them to explain the story. When you stop asking, why did they do this? Did they ever love me? Will they ever come back? Because those questions, those loops, are what keep the connection alive in your mind. Once those questions start losing their power, something shifts. You don't need to block for emotional survival anymore. You're simply living your life, and whether they're blocked or not becomes almost irrelevant. Look, if you're watching this and you're stuck in that place right now, constantly wondering whether blocking is the answer, just know something. The real answer usually isn't the button. It's the emotional place you're pressing it from. And if you want help working through that, really understanding what's going on in your mind and breaking those thought loops, you can always book a one-on-one session with me through the link in my bio, or reach out through Pop Call for chat, voice, or video. Sometimes just talking through the story with someone who understands these dynamics can bring more clarity than months of trying to figure it out alone. Because at the end of the day, blocking someone can close a digital door, but the real question is whether the emotional door in your mind has closed yet. And that's the part most people are actually struggling with.